John from JO Ventures Outdoors, and I have another video for you today, and this is an update on a project, a leather project for Warthogg for Rick, and it's a project for this knife right here, which is the USA Schrade 154 OT, and it came in this original sheath, and I'll show you the problem with that in just a minute, and I'll show you the project, but that's the knife I made the sheath for, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I wanted to show you what Warthogg Rick over there sent me as part of the package, and it was just really cool. Thank you, Rick, so much. Thank you for these extras. He sent me some great stickers. This one right here is YouTube Slick Slicers. Wow, that's just an awesome sticker. Thank you so much. He sent me this little Jimi Hendrix stamp. It's a little postage stamp. Really awesome. Love that. GP Knives sticker. Awesome. Of course, a Warthogg sticker. I showed that in my previous video. Got two of those. And then, I don't know, he just blew me away by this. He sent this Barlow. This was not part of the deal. This was an extra, and I just really appreciate this. I love this little knife. This is a 1945 to 55 Imperial Hammer brand Barlow, and you can see it has been sharpened over the years, and I actually did put a little bit of an edge on it. You can see I've been using it. Used it to cut some apples, and it's got a little bit of patina on there. I love this little knife, and I'm going to put a link to his latest video, and he talks about these Imperial Hammer brand Barlows. You know, it was actually found a little bit of an article. I think I don't know if it was from him or not, but the company started as the Imperial Knife Company in the 1920s, and then changed in the mid-30s to the Hammer brand, and then back in the mid-40s to Imperial. So apparently some of their models are considered Imperial Hammer brand models, and this little 3-inch Barlow is one of them, and apparently there are different colors, and Rick shows that in his video over on his channel, Warthogg. And so he shows some of the models he has. He had an extra one of this, and so he gifted this to me, and I just think this is just awesome. Imperial and Hammer brand were considered sort of inexpensive knives of the day, but very high quality. You can see there's great snap on this one, and it has a half stop, and there's the secondary blade. And this is really sharp and very clean. I'm just really enjoying this. And I've been carrying this a little bit, like I said, and using it as a secondary knife. And I've been carrying it in this little pocket organizer, and it just goes right down in there to keep it protected. Thank you so much, Warthogg. Thank you so much, Rick, for sending this, and I really appreciate it. So, so that was the gifts, and oh, I almost forgot one of the most important gifts: fireballs. Oh my gosh, I love these darn things, and I've been into them already. So thank you so much. That was very thoughtful. And when I send the sheath back, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute, Rick, I'm going to send you a couple of little extras. So I hope you enjoy those. So let's get to the knife here and the sheath that I made, and I'll explain a little bit about it and the construction. So again, just as a review, you can see this in the video. This is the original sheath that the 154 OT came in, and it is loose. It comes right out of there. That's no good. So I was going to try to repair this, and it's just not going to be possible. So we're going to leave it intact as the original sheath. And then he asked me to put this lanyard on for him. So I put a leather lanyard and 2 beads on there for him. And then I made this side draw sheath for him. And again, this is made out of 7 to 8 ounce leather. I buy my leather from Tandy Company. It is a very well-known leather company, a leather supplier, and we actually have one in the city just south of me, and I can get the material here really quickly. So that's the leather I use most of the time. I have bought from other sources, but I like the leather from Tandy the best. And just to give you an idea of how it starts, this is another project. I think I might have just bumped the camera, but I'm making some sheaths for a copper lock for a gentleman. And this is how it starts. This is the 7 to 8 ounce veg tan leather, and I've cut this out with a pattern, and that's what I did with this. I had to first determine a pattern and a design. And this knife, as you look, is curved, and that presents a little bit of an issue. It also has a very narrow blade, and what you're trying to do is get retention, obviously, in the sheath. So that shape of the blade and the shape of the handle really are key here. So I was looking for a design that would be suitable for that and hold it into place with that narrow blade. So I went back to one of the sheaths that I made a long time ago. My stitching has come a long way, but this is one of the first sheaths I've made side draw, and this is for an Ozark Trail, little Ozark Trail knife. And I thought this design might work pretty well. In fact, this 154 OT fit in here pretty well. And so I thought this might be a good place to start. And so that was the inspiration for this one as far as what design to use. And so that's what I did. And so this goes right in there. And there's great retention. I've tested it many times over soft surfaces, and that is not coming out of there. And I think it just really turned out great. The one thing that I had to figure out was the retention down here on this end. And you notice I put a rivet right there. And that really helped hold this knife into the sheath because this needed to be tightened up. So, so once I cut it all out, with the pattern, cut the belt loop out too, stamp it with the deer, and then after that I have to dye it. That's the second step after cutting it all out. I also, before I dye it, I bevel the edges, sand the edges too to make sure it's smooth, and there's more sanding that happens later on. Then I dye it, let it dry real good, glue it. I glued this bottom part first before putting on the belt sheath, and I stitched each of these sections separately. So this was stitched first to check retention and make sure it was going to work. Then this section was stitched, and then the belt loop. Also under this is actually a welt, a piece of leather that keeps the knife from cutting the stitches, and it extends up here in the shape of the knife blade here at the top. So taking a little extra time here, but I thought I would just explain a little bit about the construction, and then later on I worked on the rivet. And I think it turned out great with the rivet, and the retention is awesome. The one thing I was just kind of struggling with this rivet because it was a little loose, but I think I've got that tightened up really nicely. So Rick, I really hope you enjoy this. If you haven't checked out Warthogg and his channel there, that's the name of his channel, Warthogg. Just an excellent channel on traditionals mostly, but he has fixed blades and some moderns, and he has just an awesome, I just enjoy listening to him. And so thank you so much for asking me to do this project for you, and I'll be sending this to you soon, and I hope you enjoy it, and thank you all for watching.